I almost feel like Sonic has a similar issue to some level, where it's like... I kind of... like, everyone was hoping for Sonic Mania 2. I kind of wasn't, actually, just because I think Sonic Mania is phenomenal, but I wouldn't want, like, every 2D Sonic game to look like Mania, just because, again, there's a certain, like, homogeny to it that I think isn't great. So it's like, as much as, like, people were ragging on Superstars, like, why isn't Superstars 2D? And it's like, I think it's nice to not just have everything look the same, like, across, like, a sub-series. I like when games can just take the same characters and just make everything, like, totally different. Mania 2 in the sense of original levels and gimmicks, that's also fair. That's kind of what Superstars was going for, whether it was just, like, a success or not. Also, multiplayer was a mistake, because that just means the entire boss design is not good. No excuse for Trip's story, though. Not even gonna sugarcoat it. That is absolute, like, some of the worst Sonic I've ever played, and I've played Labyrinth. Like, I have still not finished Sonic Superstars in terms of the, whatchamacallit, the... Why did I do that? The true ending. Like, I can't be bothered. Every final boss is terrible, and then you get to the next final boss, and you're like, wow, this is somehow even worse than the previous final boss. It's like... Superstars feels like it desperately wanted to justify being $60 at the expense of actually just making a good experience, period. And that's like my weird take about game value, is I'd rather have like a 5-hour game that's actually really good than like a 10-hour game where like half of those hours I'm just bashing my head against the wall because the game difficulty is too absurdly high. Like, Superstars feels like, you know, Ninja Gaiden blockbuster rental era kind of game design, where it's like, let's just make the game really hard to try to artificially extend the length of it. And even like, you know, again, even if I was a little bit more like lukewarm on Wonder than a lot of fans were, I still felt like Wonder was a fairly comfortable difficulty, where it's like, there is challenge if you're wanting it, but also like, it is reserved for like bonus levels that are outside the main story, while Superstars feels like this is necessary for the best ending and like actual story stuff, not just like, you know, bonus levels. You know, it'd be like if the perfect run in Mario Galaxy 2 was like, I was gonna say a canon event by accident, but I just meant just canon. Like, if you had to beat the perfect run to get credits in Mario Galaxy 2, that's basically my issue with Sonic Superstars. It's like that level of bullshit, I feel. I've seen people stream it, not in full because I don't have that much time to watch live streams a lot of times, but it is a genuine problem of people would spend literally like 3 to 5 hours on just the penultimate boss in... Why did I do that? The penultimate boss in Superstars. And then it takes another like 2 to 3 hours to get past the actual final boss. She is the final level with Nabbit, yeah, and that's the other problem. Accessibility. I don't mind uber difficult levels if there's like some level of accessibility, and that is the case with Wonder, because there is Nabbit, there is Yoshi, there are ways to ease up the difficulty if you want that. Superstars, nope, you just have one character option for this mode, and you are stuck with it. 2 hours off stream, oof. Yeah, I've seen some people spend like literally like a 5-hour stream just beating the final level of Trip's story. It's like ridiculous. And then, oh god, there's even more. And like, I've seen parts of the Supersonic fight of Superstars where like, they basically, at the end of this 10-minute boss fight, will just throw a random mechanic at you that the game has never used up to this point, and that always kills people, because they don't know what to do with this mechanic. It's like, oh, let's introduce a mechanic at the last minute that no one can know how to deal with, and then if you don't know how to deal with it because it's a new mechanic, you have to redo the entire 10-minute boss fight. It's like, I just feel like Sonic Superstars gameplay design past a certain point is just like unacceptable. In terms of just like really bad, like, I don't know how to even word it. Having new mechanics during the final boss, yeah. Oh, this boss, I'm not looking forward to. I don't like Hothead, to be honest. I don't remember this animation. That's actually kind of cool, but also like very long. So yeah, not having much success. It would help if I pushed the right button, though. At least they gave me health. I don't think the original does. So again, it is more forgiving, but still not easy. This is probably the hardest boss in my opinion, like genuinely. Next to Wart, I'd say. This fight does kind of suck in my opinion, so we'll see how many times it takes, because it might take a few. Might have 16 lives, we're probably fine. Probably. New mechanics in the final boss can be cool. Yeah, it needs to actually explain it though. Superstars doesn't explain its mechanics, so like, it just hits you with this thing at the last minute, expects you to know about it, and then if you screw it up, you have to redo everything. And that's just like, that's just bad design. Second try. I'll take it. I need to replay all the Xenoblades. I kind of want to set them as incentives because they're so long. But again, I always feel bad setting donation incentives because I barely stream as is. I'm really not keeping up with streams as much as I want to. The explanation for that is, for what it's worth, I like hanging out with friends. So it's a case of like, oftentimes it feels like I have to like prioritize, do I hang out with friends or do I stream? And so like with the world feeling as heavy as it has lately, I've been opting to stream more often than not, or to not stream more often than not, and to instead focus on, yeah, spending time with friends. So again, if I want to stream more, I can, but it's just a matter of like, what are my priorities at the present time? I don't know if any of that made sense, to be honest. Would it be an idea to stream something with friends? I've considered it. There have been a couple of suggestions. Alright, that was an interesting trait there. I picked up the heart, so I didn't die, but I immediately lost the heart, because big shy guy. There's also like a hidden door at the very top of this area. I don't know how to get to it though. It's like really high up. So I've never been able to figure out how to actually get this one item coming up over here. Yeah, it's like over here, I think. There's also like a thingy over in this door, so might as well get this. That is the wrong pillar, it's on the other pillar. Okay, I'm amazed I actually timed that properly, but yeah, you can get up there, and there should be like a 1-up or something, but I normally don't have much luck going for that. I forgot that's what this Birdo sounded like. If I'm remembering right, the green Birdos do not fire eggs at all. You basically have to rely on the mushrooms. Which is easier said than done when you have the slow pickup speed, but luckily we got through it without too much resistance. I thought about organizing multiplayer stuff, like I thought about like setting incentives to be like, oh, we can like try to do a collab stream, but I don't know. So it's an issue of me just being bad at asking friends to do stuff, to like hang out. Like a lot of times when plans come up, it's because other people have made the plans, not because I have made the plans myself, to be perfectly honest, so... Like, I keep challenging, like, other people to play, like, Uno or something, but it's a case of, like, I don't think I have the gumption to actually organize it myself, ironically, which feels a little bit, awkward at times. I also don't know what I'd stream with friends, because it's like, you know, shared games. Like, my game library is kind of a mess right now because it's split up across so many different platforms. So it can actually be hard to, like, pick games, I feel. Just because of, like, trying to find something that everyone actually owns. Alright, let's see if this is correct. Again, I don't know mushroom placements in this game. Hey, I actually got one. I'm mildly amazed. I also haven't done the slot machine at all, so let's actually pick those. But yeah, in general, I would like to do more, like, collab type stuff, but again, it's just a matter of working up the courage to invite and, like, reach out and make plans. Alright, so far so good. Hopefully we can get through this world without too much issue. I might have just been worrying too much. Like, maybe, like, this game isn't that bad after all. Or maybe I'm just used to playing versions that have a life or continuous system and make you go back to the beginning if you run out of lives. Or, like, even just the beginning of a world can be kind of frustrating sometimes. But even then, I feel like this playthrough has actually been going remarkably smoothly. Which gives me hope for Mario 3 actually going pretty well, because that's the game I actually do know. We should have a freefall section. Yeah, Advance is just genuinely easier too. Like, different enemy placements, more health, more lives, just everything about this is just a lot simpler to pick up and, like, play, I think. I screwed up. I lost my double jump, or float. Yeah, oops. Hi, Esper. Welcome in. So yeah, that was just on me being silly. I screwed up my jump, but let's try something. Let's try to go health at least. So we're dropping down the left side this time. I almost said right side by accident. I don't know how this interaction is gonna go, if that power block hits my head or not. I don't remember hearing that voice line before. But also, this was back in the day when Peach was voiced by Cortana from Halo, Jen Taylor. So that's a fun little bit of trivia. I think enemies defeated from shells also give you hearts more consistently, but I may be misremembering there. Because we can test it out here. All of them gave us hearts, so that does seem like a valid theory. I think we can throw the fish here. I don't know if that's gonna be the best way. Or we can just clip through, that works too. Yeah, we're actually pretty far along. We only have, like, World 6, and World 7 is pretty short. Like, World 7 is only 2 levels. 2 very hard levels. Yeah, Samantha Kelly started voicing Peach in Galaxy. Even in Super Paper Mario, which was after Jen Taylor left, she was voiced by Leslie Swan, who was actually the voice from Mario 64, I want to say. And was one of the people on just the general, like, you know, Nintendo localization team in general. So probably an easy, like, swap out, kind of. It is interesting, actually, how many voice actors for the series have stuck around as long as they have. Again, even though Mario, frankly, isn't the most intensive game for audio, it is just sort of fascinating seeing how many names you can, like, recognize still. Okay, I'm riding this bird now. We'll see where this takes us. Alright, this seems to be working out great, so no complaints so far. I have some complaints now, because we have Bob-Ombs. By the way, this was the first appearance of Bob-Ombs, which is very fascinating to me, because, you know, blah blah blah, Doki Doki Panic, blah blah blah, you know, the old tried and true, did you know this game was Doki Doki Panic, is what I meant to say. Scared Nintendo out of using budget for voice work. True. My issue with Sunshine isn't the voice direction. I actually like the voice acting in Sunshine, but I'm also a Sunshine shill, so what do I know? That's like my childhood right there. If I just like Fox Girls favorites is what I've dubbed my series of playing through childhood games. We'll definitely hit up Sunshine at some point. The big question for me is, do I do 100%? Which is like a weird thing, because on one hand you'd think, I would hate 100% because it's Mario Sunshine 100%. The actual reason I don't want to do it is I've done it too many times. I have 100%ed Sunshine like 10 times throughout my life, like genuinely. To the point where it's like part of me almost just wants to do a casual playthrough, but I almost feel like I just enjoy Sunshine enough that I end up 100% anyway most of the time. All the like dumb bullshit that everyone like hates in the game, I'm like, yeah, no, this is dumb bullshit, but at the same time, it's what I'm used to. Why did I think of the quote, "You wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me," in response to this? Because it's like, yeah, you know, all the like really infamous Shine sprites, like I'm used to like a lot of the weird quirks of them, like the pachinko. So like I can even do that like second or third try consistently. And it's just because like I played too much Sunshine for one lifetime. So yeah, it's almost this case of like out of tradition, I almost want 100% Sunshine again, even though like it would be the dozenth time or something that I've done so. It's like I don't really have anything to prove, but again, it's one of my favorite games, genuinely. And again, I know that's like an interesting take, because Sunshine is a bit hit or miss, depending on who you ask. Fighting this Birdo type with no health is stressful, as it turns out. Galaxy 100% I would also like to do at some point, but the inherent problem is Luigi. Like, do I play Galaxy 1 on my own time and unlock Luigi and then do the stream playthrough as Luigi? Or do I do, like... do I just boot up my file and just be like, okay, I have this unlocked, we'll just play Luigi this way? I do like the implication of, like, these just being regular enemies that Wart is powering up through magic. A little bit of extra storytelling.
You'll make a tasty treat.
I hate this fight. It's super unwieldy in my opinion. Like just trying to like land and then pick them up in time. Stop partway through longest, that's fair. Yeah, playing the game twice is not my favorite thing in the world. See, like, the problem for me as donation incentives I'm trying to come up with, they're either, like, horrifying or, like, stuff I would just, you know, want to do anyway, so, like, why am I asking for donations for this? Why is this an incentive if it's just a playthrough I'd probably end up doing on my own anyway? Damn, okay. That is the smoothest claw grip fight I think I've ever had, and it was not smooth, so that is saying something. Trying to remember the context of Scoot the Burbs from 4 minutes ago. Yeah, I can see why Toad would make that fight a lot easier. The music sounds pitched up in this version, and it's kind of throwing me off. I'm also surprised no one has said the line yet. Well, that did not go the way I was hoping it would. If you're wondering what I mean by say the line, you know exactly what I mean. Or I could have said, oh, you know. Had a temptation to do something just now, depending on if we do a raid after this, but I don't know if I want to be that mean. Because it's not from this game. Yeah, that's on the list of things I want to do, though. If you know, you know. If you're on the same page of what I'm hinting at, then that is a game I'm considering streaming at some point, because I have actually finished it already, all levels with save states, and I actually had a good time with it. But again, maybe I like difficult platformers more than I should. Yeah, a lot of Mario enemies originated here, which is really fascinating. I got sidetracked. Where I was going with the previous conversation was like, as much as like Mario 2 gets like memed on for like, oh, it's Doki Doki Panic. I almost said Literature Club by accident. It's like oddly true to the series in a way. Like, you still have a lot of enemies originating from here to the point where it's like sort of fascinating as a game that is like discussed as not feeling like a Mario game, that so many enemies are from this game. Bob-ombs, Birdo, Shy Guys, like staple characters started here. Doki Doki Panic was originally a Mario game. I feel like there was some story about that, like I have a vague recollection of something about, like, kind of being more circular than it's made out to be usually, where it's like it kind of started as a Mario thing, and then morphed into something else, and then for the West came back, like, full circle into being a Mario game, or something like that. Well, this sucks. There we go. A little stuck, but we're fine. Again, I don't know the exact history, because I'm not, like, an expert on all the lore. Just gonna take it slow. I don't know if that's gonna break something, actually. I can use the heart, but that might despawn the key, so we'll just move on. Green Burb. Every time that voice line throws me off. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, these blocks are not blocks that act as a wall. Just as I was saying it. Yeah, I was really lucky we didn't die on the fights that had, like, the long-ass dialogue cutscenes beforehand. Actually, the bosses don't have that. Never mind. Part of me just wants to take the L and restart this, because it's such a bad start to this fight. By losing a block right away. The problem is, I've grown up with so many Mario games, I'm afraid of the series just turning into, oops, all Mario. Because it's like, you know, Superstar Saga counts, Thousand Year Door counts, like, all these games count for, like, childhood games of mine, to the point where it's like, I could just end up playing all the Mario. Not that that's a problem, necessarily, but it's just still a situation of like, oh. My favorite games are just very similar. I just was very insular as a kid. I kind of was stubborn and silly, and was like, I don't want to play it if it's not like something I already know, which is a very, like, backwards mentality to have in hindsight, where it's like, damn, I just kind of cut myself off from a lot of really good games by my refusal to play anything that was, like, outside of the franchises I knew and loved going in. Oh, this hellhole. Maybe a lot of Kirby games. Kirby's gonna show up eventually. It took until about the PS2 era for me to actually start branching out a little bit. That's I guess that's a story that can wait till later though. Because we'll definitely be talking about some of these games in this series. If we got that far, that was dumb. I don't know why I went back for that.